Good morning, everyone. What I'm going to do is, well, first of all, thanks for coming, and thanks for coming to this particular session. I know that a lot of people here attend an awful lot of these sorts of events, so I'm going to do something because time is short. I'm going to cut to the chase. I'm going to tell you the conclusions of what you're about to hear. So I'll tell you that, and then if you want to bugger off, that's up to you then. So is that okay? Because the Liverpool City Region at the moment is absolutely smashing it. And that's not just us saying it. If you talk to investors, as we have, if you talk to government, of both persuasions, it has to be said, you know, over the last 7 years, they'll tell you about the renaissance that's happening in our city region. And I want to tell you some of the things around how we've been able to facilitate some of that growth and some of the regeneration that we've seen across the whole board. So first of all, it is an absolute pleasure to be here at the Connected Places Summit. This is an event that brings together innovators, leaders and change makers. That's you, who shape the future of our cities and our regions. And I want to thank the Connected Places Catapult first for providing this platform to showcase the incredible progress and the potential of places like ours. Now, you just heard that I'm the Metro Mayor. There are 12 of those now across the country, and there's going to be lots more in the next few years. Certainly in May this year, we'll get another 3, and then there'll be more after that. And in fact, the whole of the north will be covered by devolution, the whole of the north of England. But I've always championed the power of place-based innovation, and cities and regions are the beating heart of the UK's economy, and nowhere is that more evident, in my opinion, than in the Liverpool City Region. In our area, innovation, investment and ambition are driving real and tangible change, with place-based innovation being one of our major priorities. So we've set ourselves really ambitious missions. One of them is to invest 5% of GVA into research and development by 2030. Think about that, that's twice as much as national government are going to do. And if we achieve this, and I firmly believe we will, it has the potential to unlock an additional £20 billion in GVA and create 44,000 jobs and increase productivity by 10%. And we're backing this ambition with serious investment ourselves. So over the 5 years before the pandemic, we poured £2 billion into innovation infrastructure. Right now, we have another £1 billion in live projects, and there's a further £2 billion in our pipeline. And on top of that, I've made a commitment to increase FDI by 25% by the end of this decade, something that we're well on course to deliver. But these aren't just numbers, they represent real opportunities, jobs and growth for people and for businesses. Now, the Liverpool City Region has a proud history of innovation, and today we're continuing to push the boundaries in world-leading industries. Our partnership-based approach focuses on maximising strengths in things like infectious disease control, where we're leading in the whole world, materials chemistry, AI, and emerging technologies. And as a port city, we're also developing new expertise in maritime innovation and net zero solutions, with a commitment to make our area net zero by 2035. And our Mersey Tidal Power project represents a groundbreaking initiative in renewable energy. This will be the cornerstone of our net zero ambitions, and once complete, it'll harness the tidal flow of the River Mersey to produce enough predictable power to supply every home in the city region for over a century. In addition, it will create thousands of local jobs, further driving economic growth, while significantly boosting our energy security and sustainability. Now, my region is home to 2 major science and innovation campuses, Knowledge Quarter Liverpool and the city centre, and the National Science and Innovation Campus in a place called Daresbury, one of the best kept secrets, unfortunately, in this country. These hubs bring together academia, industry and governments to drive collaboration and accelerate progress. And we're really proud of our industry and academia partnerships with institutions like the Liverpool School of Tropical Medicine, the University of Liverpool and the Hartree National Centre for Digital Innovation, working with global partners such as LYVA and IBM. We're transforming how we tackle global challenges and creating new economic opportunities. Our commitment to innovation is matched by our ability to attract investment. Liverpool City Region is one of only 3 places in the UK to hold both an investment zone and a free port status, providing us with the chance to drive economic growth and attract high quality jobs. And we're also leading the way in the ethical application of artificial intelligence. I went to Boston and to New York where they've got responsible AI. We're calling ours AI for Good. And at our inaugural AI Summit, which was last November, we showcased how we're using AI for good, ensuring the transformative technologies benefits for all of our communities. And we've been recognised for our leadership in applying AI to improve lives and grow the economy. And some of that includes things like, for instance, we're currently recruiting a chief AI officer and we're establishing an AI task force. And all of those things really do pay off, you know, because you get the ecosystem and the infrastructure right, and then the Prime Minister stands up after a lot of hard work by people like these, and he announces that 1,000 jobs from Kindrel are coming to Liverpool, not to Oxford or Cambridge, but coming to Liverpool City Centre. There'll be more on that as the weeks progress. Connected Places Catapult has been really important in helping us to deliver that vision for innovation-led growth. And their presence brings national and international expertise to the Liverpool City region, which really strengthens our ability to create those thriving connected communities. And we're collaborating on exciting initiatives such as the Liverpool-Belfast Green Shipping Corridor, which includes 29 potential projects driving maritime decarbonisation. And we're progressing the UK's first ever Maritime Innovation Action Framework, ensuring that our region remains as a leader in the sector. However, our partnerships extend beyond the UK. Through the LCR, Liverpool City Region Busan Innovation Twinning Programme, we're deepening our collaboration with South Korea to drive forward shared innovative ambitions. And last year, I had the privilege of visiting both Boston and New York to explore closer collaboration and investment opportunities around life sciences, digital technologies, and sustainable development. And as we speak, a high-level trade mission from the City Region is in China, showcasing £11 billion worth of investment opportunities. So I'd say, as the region of pioneers, from our industrial heritage to our modern-day leadership in science, technology and innovation, we've always been a place that embraces change and looks to the future. And as we gather today, we're not just talking about innovation, we're actually and actively building the infrastructure, the partnerships and policies that will define the next era of growth. And that collaboration is based on connectivity. Now, whether that's transport, because people need to get around, digital, geographical, political, or even philosophical collaboration, it's crucial to our success, and ultimately it's underpinned by people, and it is our people who are the lifeblood of our region. They're the innovators, the entrepreneurs, the businesses, the workforce, and of course the communities that make our ambitions a reality. In their passion, resilience and creativity that drives us forward, we'll ensure that we remain a thriving hub of opportunity and progress with the bold ambition, strategic investment and power of collaboration. That will mean that the Liverpool City Region is providing that place-based innovation, not just using it as a concept. It is a reality that delivers real benefits for our people and for our businesses. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing how today's discussions because I'll get feedback from these people, how that will inspire new ideas, it'll forge new partnerships and accelerate the progress that we're all working towards. And so apologies that I can't be with you for the whole session. I do have to shoot off some other great news, hopefully that will be conveyed to the Liverpool City Region public in the next few weeks. But it is good to be here. It's good to see so many of you interested in what we're doing. Kind of thank you for your attendance, and if you can, try to enjoy the rest of the summer. Thanks an awful lot.
Fantastic. Thank you, Mayor. Right, we're just going to move this podium. Oh, it's a one-man job. Great. Thanks. And, well, it's my opportunity to chair the discussion off the back of that. Really exciting. So much going on. Thank you all for joining. So I'm joined, as it will perhaps say, I've put my clicker down, so if my AV man would mind clicking on, that would be really helpful. So I'm joined by John Whaling, who is Lead Officer for Innovation and Commercialisation at Liverpool City Region. I'm going to come to you first, so I'll give you a tee up by my excellent colleague, Alex Cousins, Director of Devolved Government at Connected Places Catapult, and is really our woman in the region. She's given me lots of tours. We've met lots of people over the last few years, so she's standing in for Nuala, who sadly is unable to join. Craig Pennington, Chief Executive and Co-founder of Future Yard CIC, and Lorna Green, Chief Executive Officer of LYVA Labs. So, John, let's come to you first. The Mayor's laid out an inspiring and energetic vision. There's lots going on. Tell us a bit more about the innovation strategy and what we can expect, and those who are looking to get involved. What's happening?
Thanks, Sam. Morning, everyone. And as the Mayor said, he's given you kind of all of the answers. But how did we get there? And I think, without sounding obsequious, not least because he's now left, I think Steve's highlighted the transformative effects of having a Metro Mayor, full stop, let alone one for whom innovation is at the very core of his mission, and the 5% target. We have been doing place-based innovation for 12 years, in part thanks to Alan Welby, now of the Connected Places Catapult, who had the vision to initiate that time ago. But without kind of getting into sort of definitional territory, just it's interesting hearing the Cardiff version before. We've talked about place-based innovation. What does that actually mean? So what we mean by it is maximising our world-leading assets and capabilities, yes, to drive growth and productivity and investment, but also to solve our own problems. And the two are mutually inclusive, not mutually exclusive. Easy to say, hard to do. I think, as the Mayor highlighted, our strategy has been very clear. Certainly since 2017, we have unashamedly focused on the areas where we can prove that we have distinctive world-leading expertise and assets, materials chemistry, infection, AI solutions. And so that is at the core of our strategy, and for me and for us, that is the essence of place. There are obviously other parts of the world that have excellence in all of those things. There's nowhere else that has that particular blend, that has the assets we've got, both in terms of science and technology, in terms of topology. Mersey Tidal, world's biggest power program in development, and the people and the entrepreneurial drive. So everything we do based on evidence, partnerships, and very razor-like focus.
Amazing. Well, it definitely seems to be paying off. I was hearing there's £11 billion investment pipeline for developments in the region, and I know that the region was represented at a rather rainy MIPIM in the recent days. Alex, what is the role of the innovation economy in stimulating that kind of investment and the regeneration and the transformation of the city and the region?
Yeah, so Nuala was there last week alongside Emily and a big gang from Team Liverpool. And what was apparent, it was the first MIP, and I think where it was really innovation heavy and showing you that innovation drives growth. So the city were talking about £11 billion of schemes and investments. And some of them are things like a 30,000 square advanced research and digital health hub focusing on mental health and life sciences, which is a part of the McGull Health Park. The Knowledge Quarter expanding, health innovation, a 550 million investment into the region's healthcare ecosystem, advanced manufacturing plants, artificial intelligence, Liverpool City Freeport, goes on and on and on. All these assets were all on show. These the new developments, and they're all built on the innovation assets that already exist. So it was interesting that it was really innovation heavy at MIPIN to say innovation drives growth. But also, they were on the panels, in the side conversations and at meetings, it was about, well, how do you do it, as you've just said. So there was innovation in the process, in planning, digitisation of planning, things like the local land and urban development corporation are getting resurrected, things like that, AI technologies, housing, how do you improve housing and get housing out the door as quick as the government wants. So obviously new methods of manufacturing, etc. Starship with their modular homes. So there was a lot of innovation assets on show, a lot of innovation assets to go and invest in, and then a lot of process in innovation to make that all happen.
It's really interesting, isn't it, that there's clearly the value that comes from innovation in doing things better, faster, cheaper, better outcomes. And there's the innovation which is encouraged when a city and a region embraces this positive, innovation-friendly approach. And I think the investment that's flowing into the city and the region demonstrates that. Clearly, those innovators are often entrepreneurs, small businesses, some from the region, some who are attracted, and LYVA Labs plays a vital part in supporting and stimulating that. So, Lorna, why don't you tell us a little bit about LYVA Labs and what you're finding is behind that success? What do your members most need and most value?
Okay. I'll start a little bit earlier than that in terms of what they need. But LYVA Labs was set up just over 3 years ago now with funding from the Metro Mayor. My background's always been in the medtech sector, and I was frustrated that I was seeing great entrepreneurs, great technologies, and they were winning Innovate UK grants and finding partners to do research with, but they didn't have the private investment to match those grants or to get themselves started. So you win a £500,000 grant, you need 150k match. Where'd you get it from? We've got no funds in our region, or we didn't have. And then also I started to see data that suggested only 3% of Innovate UK money comes to the Northwest, and that includes Greater Manchester and the Life Sciences Biotech Park at Alderley in East Cheshire. So the amount that's coming to Liverpool City Region is minuscule. But we get 7% of the research funding into our universities. So we do better on the research side than we do on the innovation side. And then I saw some other data that suggested high growth scale-up companies across the UK, 26% of them have had access to some form of supported accelerator programme. In Manchester, that was 21%. In Liverpool, it was 8%. Mm-hmm. So again, there was just no infrastructure of support, and founders need different things at different stages, different types of funding, different types of support and advice. So that's really what LYVA Labs was set up to do, and we're funded by the Combined Authority to do that. So we provide pre-seed investment, so we do provide the cash, we can do the first 250, and we also provide grant writers and support to access that public match in that early stage R&D for our SMEs as well. But now, through the investment zone, we are going to be launching programs of support where they come into a fully funded, fully supported program with professional business service advisors, with mentors from industry, coaches, and investment readiness training, as well as that ongoing support to get grants and, of course, investment from ourselves. We are a not-for-profit, so we're not a typical investor. If we make a return on any of these startups, it will go back in the pot to fund another startup in the future. So I think we're quite unique in our model in combined authorities. There are 12 Metro Mayors now. I'm not aware that any is doing what we're doing, but it's replicable because every region has its own challenges, every region has its own strengths. So we don't compete with other regions. What we're doing is focusing on supporting ours to be better and the best that they can.
Fantastic. And how many members, how many organisations are you working with at present?
So we've invested 1.6 million into 20 startups so far. They have now secured a further 7 million between them in both public and private match, so it's SEIS funds and pre-seed seed funds following on. And we've got 4 going through follow-on funding at the moment, so that number's going to continue to grow. Our target is to invest in 45 in total over the next 3 or 4 years. So we're almost halfway there, so we're doing all right. And but we've also do wider work, so we support our more established businesses who maybe have stopped innovating because their shareholders are looking for returns, or they're cash strapped in the current climate and they don't have the resources and the time to focus on the next new product for them. But the growth that they can achieve, if they're a £10 million company, it's easier to grow one of those than it is to grow a startup. So we have innovation consultancy and startup grants to help them explore new opportunities and innovations with our knowledge partners. And then we're also working with the wider ecosystem and big industry like LYVA and Croda to understand their challenges in R&D and how we can foster collaboration with our knowledge partners more broadly. So we're currently working on looking at microbiome and bioprocessing capabilities in the city region. Because again, we've got research strengths, we've got big industry in that sector, but there are translational challenges on the R&D. So it's at every scale. It's the little startups, it's the medium-sized businesses and getting more innovation through them, but then also making the best use of our assets and our knowledge to open them up to industry to come and do R&D in our region and create more jobs that way as well.
It's great to hear. It's really exciting. And a big theme through what we've heard already and what I've been hearing going around the country is this point about inclusive innovation, inclusive growth. There's a risk. There's a risk that investment or jobs get displaced. This isn't about creating new opportunity, but I know that that's really at the heart of what the region is concerned about, to make sure this is about additive, inclusive, participative innovation and growth. So, Craig, Future Yard is doing really innovative and interesting ways to foster inclusivity and inclusive growth through the digital and music sector. So tell us a little bit about Future Yard and tell us about what you think is working that makes this effective.
So yeah, thanks very much. So Future Yard is a community music venue in Birkenhead on the sunny side of the River Mersey. And yeah, so we essentially were founded with one fundamental founding belief, and that's that music can change the world. And what we try to do is utilise the power of music to bring about meaningful change, both for the people who live in the community that we're based, but also for the place itself. So it's inherently a place-based approach in that we use the power of music and its power to change people's lives to really, really drive positive change. And we do that through creating really, really amazing programme. So having, touring artists from around the world playing on our stages. But then we reimagine a music venue as a learning opportunity for local young people from some of the most challenging backgrounds. We live in a very, very concentrated area of quite high social deprivation. So we create free-to-access training programs, reimagine the space as a learning opportunity, but then also provide a cluster for emerging new artists to provide them with the skills to excel within the modern music industry. So I think it goes back to that idea around thinking about a place's core assets. I think if you said to a lot of people in this room, what would Liverpool be synonymous with? I'm pretty sure that music would probably be one of the things that you would think about. So rather than thinking about the challenges that traditional music venues face and the very traditional view of what they provide for their local communities, people might be aware of some of the debates around the challenges that face local music venues. The Music Venue Trust have done a very good job articulating that nationally. What we've provided with a CIC community interest model, which is owned by the community, is now a permanent resource which is owned by local people, which means that as a key long-term stakeholder, we're part of that permanent vision for what that place is. We can be there and work in partnership with our local authorities. So we're part of Wirral Council's Town Deal programme. We've worked very, very closely with Liverpool City Region, with our Metro Mayor since our inception. So I think thinking about an asset like music and an institution and an organisation like Future Yard as being part of a long-term place-based vision it's really been the founding principle that we've kind of come at our approach with.
It's really exciting. As you say, the innovation comes in many forms, doesn't it? And I think music is such a powerful way to involve people and join up. And the mixing the creative industries and the science and technology sectors is that intersection is where some of those really interesting things happens, isn't it? I'm going to come to you guys in a minute, so I'm going to give you a couple of minutes warning. I can't yet see any questions on Slido. I'm not sure if that's because I've got the wrong thing and my colleague at the back needs to give me something, or whether you just aren't asking questions. If necessary, I'll just come around, as I say. But I'm keen to hear from all the panel. There's amazing things happening. When we reconvene in a year's time, what will have happened? What's happening in the next 12 months that you're really excited about? And where are the opportunities for people in this room, whether they're suppliers, prospective partners, investors, others who want to join you in the journey, to get involved? What will we be celebrating in 12 months' time? So, Alex, I'm going to come to you first. So just so I don't go up and down the line in a sort of like tedious way.
Disrupt yourself, yeah.
Yeah, so we've been working with the City Region now for the last couple of years, and we've signed an MOU for 3 years with the City. So we'll be looking at processes with them, innovating some of their processes, as I say, around planning, about procurement, things that make things happen. Been working really closely with John and the Maritime team around Maritime Innovation Action Plan framework, and that's really about galvanising the whole of that sector, and because there are lots of innovations going on, we're just not telling the story, I don't think yet. The things that we've been working on is the Green Shipping Corridor, Liverpool, Belfast, and there are follow-on projects to that, so hopefully we'll have got a few of them funding and out the door, especially with the announcement at the UK and Irish Summits last week, which was really good. A lot of the things that we've been saying in the report found their ways into that feedback, so that was great. And then working with Emily, we've got a brilliant children's book, The Animates. I've had loads of support from yourself on that as well, John. And that's to try and inclusive innovation, trying to get the next level primary school school kids thinking about innovation and also thinking about the sectors. So we've got a book called Learning in Liverpool that's going to be rolled out to every primary school in Liverpool over the next year, and a couple of workshops. And then the next one is Maritime. We're telling the story about Maritime, and oh my goodness, that's in production now. And that goes global because it's big shipping lines. We're talking about global connections across the world. So yeah, quite a lot, I think, on the plate in the next year.
Incredible, really exciting. Lorna, let's come to you. What will we be celebrating this time next year?
I think our 20 will be 30 startups invested. I think the 30 million leveraged should be 50 million leveraged. The rest, I'm waiting to hear about the spending review and what comes next for Innovate UK and what the schemes are going to be. We're an investor partner with Innovate UK, so again, I'm hopeful that programme comes back. And but yeah, so more of the same, but bigger and better. And my ambition, which might not happen within a year, but hopefully within 2 or 3, is to actually create an innovation centre for our startups and our entrepreneurs in our Knowledge Quarter. So the campuses that the Metro Mayor mentioned, STFC, Scitech Daresbury, do a fantastic job of supporting the businesses on the campus. We don't really have anything in the Knowledge Quarter that supports those businesses. So Leeds has the Nexus, Manchester has the MIF, and Newcastle, I think, has the Helix. We haven't got one. And I'd love for us to get one and create one, because I think those hubs bring that vibrancy and that peer support and that connectivity for those founders. So yeah, I'm not sure I'll manage it within a year, but I'm going to try.
That's great. I think the kind of embodied, incarnational nature of leadership and innovation is really key, isn't it? You say that it's diffuse, it happens in all sorts of places, but I've really seen this partly through the work with the Innovation Districts Group and others, that having some places that are a focus where different sectors come together, there's kind of engineered serendipity, and they're really porous. They're not kind of closed campuses or you need a special pass. There's engagement from all sorts of people, and that's really exciting. Well, that's great. John, I'm going to come to you. What will we be talking about this time next year, and what can people get involved in to be part of that success?
Right, how to summarise? Where do you start? I mean, there's a kind of national policy and strategy dimension to this. We haven't really mentioned the D word yet, devolution, so I'll mention it now. We're cautiously optimistic. There will be some movement on directly devolved funding to establish mayoral strategic authorities. The mayor mentioned AI for good, the recruitment of a task force and a chief AI officer, also our second AI summit. But in tandem with that, there's a whole series of kind of potential strategic investments that, again, won't be realised within a year necessarily. But, and again, the Mayor mentioned our two major science and innovation campuses, Knowledge Quarter, Liverpool, SciTech, Daresbury. We're looking at scaling up by a factor of 10, what are already Europe's largest cryogenic cooling facilities, which may sound a bit esoteric, but actually are fundamental to the growth of a number of industries, notably quantum. And we have the world's most exciting quantum computing company located on campus. Secretary of State for DCID is at their HQ tomorrow in Palo Alto. So there's a big tech stuff, not within a year, but you won't be surprised to hear me talk about, again, scaling up our other big capabilities around AI and robotics, driven lab automation and materials chemistry. So the University of Liverpool and Unilever partnership around Materials Innovation Factory, our infection prevention and control cluster, but also, the other end of the scale. And there's also a public sector innovation angle to this over and above the big science and technology stuff. So again, something that the government conferred upon us was a pilot national office for public service innovation. So what's the role of City Hall in all of this and the wider public sector? We've got a very good relationship, as does the Mayor, with Bloomberg Philanthropies. So there's a global dimension to that. And we're holding our Innovation Investment Fortnight in May, so 12th to the 23rd. Please come to Liverpool City Region anytime, in fact, but particularly then. And I could go on, but I'll stop.
Well plugged. No, fantastic. I mean, that's it. There's a richness of things happening, aren't there? Craig, let's come to you. What will we be celebrating from Future Yard's point of view?
So from a Future Yard point of view, in terms of our organisation, we'll have completed a £2.5 million capital programme, which will quadruple our performance spaces and our studio spaces where we deliver our training programmes. We'll have had 30,000 people through the door coming to our live programme. We'll have trained 150 young people, free to access training programmes, giving them the skills to go into the live music sector in back of house roles, providing access to careers. But I think away from Future Yard specifically, in terms of the work that we're doing, I think one piece of work that we're doing spending a lot of time on at the moment is really, really understanding the opportunities around alternative finance models, understanding our social impact. So you mentioned before around more equitable place-based approaches to finance. We've accessed a number of different funds, one which allowed us to buy our building. We're a community interest company, so we're non-profit and owned by the community. That's allowed us to invest and buy our physical asset. So we're looking at ways of understanding our social value in a really empirical way so that we can look to find interesting ways of working with different types of investors to provide that long-term resilience to the organisation. And then I suppose finally would be that we're very, very actively looking at opportunities to share our model and work in other parts of the country. So we've done a very, very tentative pre-pilot over the last 12 months with a local authority in a different part of the UK. East Staffordshire Borough Council have just been shortlisted for a local government award for the work that we've been doing, embedding music and kind of place-based bottom-up approaches, utilising music within their regeneration strategies. So yeah, looking at how we can kind of take our model and translate and share that nationally is something we're really keen to do.
Well, that's really exciting. Okay, so I warned you, it's your chance. You've got 5 minutes left. I'm going to ask my colleague to have a roving mic because I couldn't see any questions on the Slido. So I'll take 3 questions. If there's time for a second round, we'll do that. But if hands up, so great. So there's one at the back here, one here, and one here. Great. We'll come to you next, so if we have time. So there's a chap over there to start with. I'll say we'll take 3 guys. Panel, pick one of them that you're interested in. Don't feel we need to answer everything.
My question's for Craig, as someone who's also worked in music for quite a long time, and also really interested to hear that you're looking to kind of replicate the model in different cities, because it would be great to talk to you about that if it was possible. How does your sort of work sit alongside the music cities work that lots of local authorities are have taken on, and how does that sort of fit into the picture around placemaking? Is that?
Yeah.
Hopefully that's a
Yeah.
similar question.
Well, thank you. So this lady here. Well done. Mike's coming to you. Thank you.
Hi, Susie Rigby from Innovate UK. I just want to ask about skilling and upskilling. You've got such a diverse set of industries and activities going on in the local area. And I know Craig has just mentioned about skilling free-to-access training courses, but what other activities are going on in the local region? And I'm thinking particularly about the sort of economic inactivity sector of people as well that we're hearing so much about at the moment.
Thank you. It was this lady here. Actually, so this one here, and then we'll take this fourth question because I don't think we'll have time to come around again. So that way you all have a choice to pick one. Go for it.
Mine's for Lorna. I'm just wondering about your Launchpad pilot. For disclosure, I've got the Tees Valley one. But I'm just wondering, have you found that kind of regional-based innovation in that project has been really successful? Because with you working in the innovation sector for a long time, you must have seen lots of different projects and programs. So has that one specifically worked really well for you?
Great, thank you. And then the chap here has it. Mike's coming to you.
Yeah, but one to the panel, please. When we look at innovation, it's generally seen as new technology toys that we can build and we can adopt. But the reality is we all know that it's more to do with cultures and habits and persuading people to adopt digital management approaches rather than analog ones that we've done for years. How do we retrain organisations to embrace that innovation that we're developing?
Fantastic, thank you. So we have like 4 minutes left, and we're going to try and give at least a taster of an answer to each of those, and then the panel will be around. Please feel free to grab them over a break and answer. Does anyone want to jump in? So you will both ask direct questions. Do you want to either answer one of those?
Go on, you go.
Okay. Just in short, yes. So Future Yard very much came out of the whole Music Cities movement. Our model was forged as a response to that and by it. I think a lot of the work that local authorities have done very successfully has created strategies and strategy frameworks and kind of visions and economic impact assessments and ways that might work. The bit that the places often struggle with is who's going to operate those and who's going to drive them forward. Our approach is based on growing your own, building that from the bottom up. So a very, very kind of demonstrable and successful program where you can grow these institutions that are from the communities that you want to serve, that can then take ownership of those kind of assets to drive that strategy forward. It takes a bit more time, takes a bit more patience, but in the long run, it's a much, much better approach. So, yeah.
Great, thank you. Lorna, what's the learning from the Launchpads?
Yeah, quite a lot really. So as I said earlier, my background was health and life sciences, and then along came a launchpad in advanced manufacturing, and John involved us with Innovate UK in the original thinking behind what our launchpad might look like. And then we were encouraged to kind of partner as the project manager. So it's been really successful for us because we were only about a year old as an organisation. So for us to then have that remit to engage with our manufacturing base, and manufacturing in our city region is really important. We have, if you do the quadrant on business density and productivity, our manufacturing sits in the right-hand quadrant for us. So it's really important, but it doesn't have a lot of innovation in it. So what the Launchpad brought was a grant scheme that was almost ring-fenced for our city region for manufacturers to innovate. So we had 37 grants, I think, in total, but quite a number of those were first-time innovation grant applications. Those businesses had never engaged with Innovate UK before and gone through that route of innovating. So they needed support in the process and then in managing the projects. But actually, a number of them have gone on outside of Launchpad to get further grants and much bigger grants. We've got one that's got a couple of million, and it's got there's a boat sailing around the world at the moment with a green wing on it that was funded, and it sparked through Launchpad. So I never thought that as LYVA Labs I'd be doing stuff in manufacturing and that, but actually it brought out businesses, and now we run quarterly events. We've got 800 members in the Launchpad network, and I think about 150 businesses in that network now as well. And the surprising, not necessarily surprising, but the key thing we found from the running the programme is actually it's the open mic bit and the conversations between the businesses that they value the most from the whole programme. Those that got the grants obviously value the grants, but the network that we've built, whenever we run the events, it's the open mic and the business to business, and they've never met before, but they're in the same region. Nobody's facilitating that open conversation around innovation and collaboration, and I think that's been the biggest improvement, I think, for our manufacturing sector through that programme.
Amazing. Well, it sounds like there's at least 2 conversations that need to go and happen over coffee after this. I'm afraid we're up against time, so apologies. We didn't get to the upskilling question or the adoption question, but the panel, I'm sure, will be keen to pick up those afterwards. But in the spirit of not eating into the next session, I'm going to draw a line there. Do join me in thanking this amazing group of people who are leading transformation in an energetic and exciting part of the country.